Tatiana Bilbao is an architect studio founded in 2004 in Mexico City. She faces various political and social problems in the architect of Culiacán. The Culiacán Botanical Garden was one of Tatiana's works created in 1986. It's a public space with many functions, and its objective is to maintain the work collection that already have and enrich it with many species of a high biological value. Now this garden has become a point of reference for the city of Culiacán.
Hi, I am Pedro Caneda and I am going to talk about the Besalú Nursery School, a project made by Carmen Pillem and her studio. Carmen Pillem was born in Olot, Spain, the 18th of April of 1962. She take part with Ramón Vilalta and Rafael Aranda in the RCR studio, so they won a Pulitzer Prize. In their studio, it's very important the harmony between their work and the environment. We can see in this project that this nursery is very well integrated in the nature, being formed by very vivid colors to form a rainbow, something that children love. The goal was to build a daycare center to enjoy and have fun, a daycare center where children would like to go every day, a challenge that they eventually got.
Lina Bobardi studied architecture in the 1930s at the Faculty of Architecture in Rome. Years later, she went to Brazil where she spent her ideas. She maintained an intense cultural life and died in 1922. One of her buildings, Casa de Vidrio, was conceived with the purpose of being the artist's own house. With this work, the artist wanted to relate architecture and life, but it was not easy to combine both things. It was designed with 3 large glass fronts to take advantage of the views of the landscape. It is beautiful the coexistence that exists between humanity and nature through the tree that grows the house from its foundations.
Frank Lloyd Wright is one of the most representative architects of the modern architecture, and he has his personal style, the organic architecture, which is based in a full relationship of harmony between its structures and the environment. One example of it is the Falling Water or Kaufman House, a very famous house built between the 1936 and 1939, and which more important part is that the center of the life every day is the Bear Run River waterfall.
Yosemite Matching Architects is an architect firm located in the United States. They planned to build a type of cabin for a young family in the Muscora forest. The house is isolated, so there is a lot of privacy. It's got a very simple structure and takes advantage of the hill. It has got 3 floors, and the highest floor works as an observatory. From there, you can have very good views.
Selgas Cano is an architecture studio directed by José Selgas and Lucía Cano. It is located in Madrid and it was built in 2007. The intention of this project is for the 2 architects and their team to work in offices based on the pillars of their work. That is, to relate the architecture and the nature and to use different types of materials.
Aldo Rossi was an Italian architect that, among other great works, made the World Theatre in 1979. It is a floating construction that can accommodate 250 people. It was made for the Biennial of Architecture. It is a foundation that has its campus in Venezia. It was created to show and develop the architecture of the moment.
Hi, I'm Marina Martinez and I'm going to speak about Kazuyo Sejima and the new Museum of Contemporary Art. This museum is located in Boburi from 2002. She is a contemporary Japanese architect who built the only museum in New York which is exclusive of contemporary art. With the intentions to create new arts and new ideas. This building counts with 8 floors, which future artists will exhibit their works. To protect them, they have panels to care from sunlight. This museum is elegant and urban, and they try to integrate their neighborhoods with the commercial Bowery Street. So this is my project and I hope you like it.
Josep Lluïser, architect, in charge of design the Joan Miró Foundation in Barcelona, looking for spaces with a lot of natural lighting, high ceilings and creative spaces, using the ideas of rationalism, a functional style, with eliminated decoration or little functional purpose, using simple geometric shapes. Also using from the beginning typical materials of Catalonia.
Álvaro Siza won the Pritzker Prize in 1992. He studied architecture at the University of Porto. He graduated in 1955 and began participating as a professor between 1966 and 1969. He returned in 1976. In his buildings, there is a love for simple forms and light. He connects tradition and modernity. To define its style is not easy. In 1970, after the Portuguese Revolution, he helped building social housing. He designed CGAG between 1988 and 1993. It is a cultural space where art is presented through temporary exhibitions that reflect on the current artistic panorama and the diversity of formulas and modalities it presents.
Hi, I am Jose, and I will tell you about a famous architect, Alejandro Aravena. He is a famous architect because he had to carry out great projects to welcome the homeless. This project was commissioned by the Chilean government, and the idea was to reduce the cost of the houses a lot until they reached 7,500 euros. This house is approximately 40 square meters and contains the most complicated part to release. Thanks to their characteristic structure, the owners of these houses can expand them both vertically and horizontally. These houses contain the basic to survive. They are more comfortable than shanty houses that are very vulnerable and uncomfortable houses to live in. This is my project about Aravena, and I hope that you liked.
So this project is about Mauricio Lamaconcar and definite homes. He designed this type of homes to the children that have cancer and that are from low income families. So this means that they don't have much resources. So this is a way for he to help this type of people that live that also.
Hi everyone, Marcos Baldarini is a 46-year-old architect and urban planner. He is married and childless. In his own studio, called Baldarini Arquitectura e Urbanismo, he tries to improve the most needy areas of different Brazilian neighborhoods. One of its most important constructions is Residencial Corruíras, where, in order to find peace, it tries to attend to those less developed spaces. This complex of buildings in São Paulo offers a fantastic perception of relief and landscape. Near the Aguas Praiada stream, it has several balconies and square perforations that characterize its facade, in addition to having numerous homes and common areas to enjoy doing activities related to leisure, reading, etc.
Michael Reynolds is an American architect who creates his buildings to live in harmony with nature. Airships is a project that reflects that idea because it is built with recycled materials, it is economical, it is easy to build, and uses renewable energy. Those are some of the reasons why these houses are sustainable and self-sufficient. It was firstly held in Ushuaia, Argentina, by the company Airships Biotecture in January.
Metis School. Metis School is a rural school designed by Anna Heringer, a German architect who is known for using sustainable architecture. The main objectives of the organization is to improve the quality of life in rural areas. For its construction, she decided to use materials from the area, such as bamboo, straw, and mud. This colorful two-story school has a rigid structure made
was a Finnish architect and designer. He was part of the modern movement and participated in the SEA. Ugo was the only architect of the second generation of the modern movement considered a master. Among his works, the University of Helsinki stands out. Science Aalto proposes a unique concave shape with the stairs in a semicircular shape, replacing the stairs of the outside with rows of windows. Due to his ingenuity, the Aalto Awards are held every 5 years.
Leah, and I will tell you about the famous Danish architect John Utzon. He designed a famous monument, the Sydney Opera. This project was carried out for concerts, operas, theatre, and other artistic works. The Prime Minister at the time, Joseph Cahill, announced that it would be finished in 2 years and eventually lasted for about 10 years. This building was initially going to cost $3 million and ended up costing $100 million. The Sydney Opera was one of the most expensive projects of the so-called megaprojects. It is one of the most famous buildings of the 20th century. Each year, more than 2,400 events are performed, so it is not just an impending building, it is also a reference of art. This is my project and I hope you liked it.
The Georges Pompidou National Center of Art and Culture in Paris, France, was created by two popular and important Italian architects, Richard and Renzo Piano. The Georges Pompidou Center, at first, it was to be a museum of modern art, but this idea was cancelled in the development. Nowadays, this center is a popular center and it's so interesting and cool for tourists.
Frank Gehry is a Canadian architect, known for the innovative and peculiar shapes of the buildings he designs. He is the winner of several awards, including the 1989 Pulitzer Prize. Gehry is one of the architects who considers architecture as an art. That is, for Gehry, a finished building is a work of art. The winery Marqués of Riscal is located in La Rioja, and there they produce wine. It began its activity in 1958, thus being the oldest winery in Álava. Years later, this winery was renamed the City of Wine, in which was a hotel designed by Frank Gehry, whose name is Hotel Marqués Riscal.
This work was designed by Jean Nouvel, a French architect, and is located in Barcelona. It was built to house the headquarters of Aguas de Barcelona, opened in 2005. This monument is one of the most important and representative buildings in this city. It has a representative bowl shape and one of their characteristics is the night landing.
Louise Blanchard was the first professional American architect woman. She is known as the first architect who fought for the women's rights with her buildings. The most prominent are the Elwood Music Hall and the Lafayette Hotel.
The Port Authority headquarters in Antwerp was built in 2016 by Zaha Hadid. It's located right next to the Skadar River, which allowed a sustainable construction. The shape of this building evokes a ship's hull and a diamond, direct allusions to the port activity and trade in precious stones in Antwerp. It's a World Trade Center and pioneer of the diamond industry. The project has involved the restoration of a fire station, so it involved the modern design with the history of the city.
Hi, I'm Jorge Salgado and I'm going to talk about Luis Barragan and his work, Luis Barragan's house. Luis Barragan was a Mexican architect who built his house in symbiosis with nature, and he lived in it until the day of his death. The house was built in a small neighborhood where it would get people attention. He wanted to build a house which included very striking colors, a personal touch, and integrating traditional Mexican architecture with traditional architecture. Finally, it was built in 1948. Today, the Barragan House is a house museum, and it is one of the most representative works of contemporary architecture in traditional context. And this was my project, and I hope you like it.
Ville Savoia was built by Le Corbusier and was finished in 1931 in France. The most important things about this house and what it became famous for was the following ideas. The pilotis on which the first floor rests on, leaving most of the surface in contact with the land free of occupation. The floor plan feel low at the walls, the facade free of the weight of the structure. The windows where the gaps were horizontal, more appropriate for the human eye perspective, and the unique escapes of the roof that became green.
Mies van der Rohe is a German-American architect and industrial designer that built the Barcelona's pavilion in 1929. It was made for the Barcelona's exhibition that took place in Montjuïc. It was made for the official reception chaired by Alfonso VIII with the German authorities. Nowadays, it is open to
Sagrada Familia. This monument, Cathedral of Barcelona, is a work of Antonio Gaudí, considered the greatest representative of Catalan modernism. The cathedral, still unfinished, has a neo-Gothic style, and is made up of 5 important parts. The work itself tries to remember the forest with its columns and the colorful with its famous stained glass windows.
Antoni Gaudí was a Spanish architect. He had an innate sense of geometry and volume, as well as imaginative capacity that allowed him to mentally project most of his works before passing them out. Over the course of time, Gaudí's works have achieved a wide international diffusion, with innumerable studies devoted to his understanding of architecture. The Sagrada Familia is currently one of the most visited monuments in Spain. Park Güell is a public park with gardens and architectural elements, located at the top of the city of Barcelona, and it was built between 19 and 1914. Was inaugurated as a public park in 1926.
Hello, in this video we are going to talk about Antonio Gaudí and some of his works. First of all, we must emphasize about him that he is one of the most famous recognized architects of modern Spain. However, his works have been heavily criticized by the Barcelona press to the point of ridiculing them, leaving him in oblivion. Its most characteristic construction is a summer cottage in comillas, a Cantabrian town, called El Capricho, where we can see the most important characteristic that will later represent its trajectory. Specifically, El Capricho is an example of the Oriental style in which Gaudí is inspired, as seen with the tower minaret. In addition, we find certain adaptations to the preference of its owner, lover of music and plants, thanks to the existence of a greenhouse inside and the presence of musical motifs.